All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on a battlefield you can't see, a war that's not fought with bombs and bullets, but with invisible signals. We're talking about electronic warfare. And if you understand anything about IT or cybersecurity, you're going to find this world is surprisingly familiar. So just think about this for a second. You know what a DDoS attack is, right? It's when you flood a website with so much junk traffic that it just collapses. Now, what if you could do that in the sky? What if you could use that same idea to completely blind an enemy's air defense system? It's a wild thought, but it's the perfect way to get our heads around this invisible war.
And here's the key idea. The concepts, the strategies, they're almost identical. The only thing that's different is the playing field. In the IT world, you're fighting over fiber optic cables and Wi-Fi routers. In the world of electronic warfare, the battlefield is the electromagnetic spectrum itself, that invisible world of radio waves, radar, and communications that's all around us. To really make sense of all this, it helps to know that electronic warfare basically stands on three main pillars. Think of this as our translation guide, our Rosetta Stone that turns all the military jargon into IT concepts we already get. First up, we've got electronic support, or ES. This is the listen before you speak phase. It's totally passive. Before you can even think about disrupting an enemy signal, you first have to find it, listen to it, and understand what it is. The IT parallel here is just perfect. It's literally network monitoring. It's like running Wireshark to do some packet sniffing. You're just quietly listening, mapping out the network, and figuring out who's talking to who. So once you've done your listening, you move on to pillar 2, electronic attack, or EA. This is the fun part, the offensive side. This is where that DDoS in the sky actually happens. It's called jamming, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You just blast an enemy radar with so much noise that they can't see a thing. But it gets sneakier too. You can also use deception, which is basically just spoofing, sending out fake signals to make one fighter jet look like 10 on an enemy's radar, or even feeding them bogus GPS coordinates. And finally, of course, you need defense. That's pillar 3, electronic protection, or EP. This is all about shielding your own signals from their attacks. A classic technique is called frequency hopping, where your radio signal jumps between different frequencies hundreds of times a second, making it almost impossible for a jammer to lock on. It's the exact same idea as a firewall or encryption protecting your network from bad guys. So let's just lay it all out. Electronic support is your passive packet sniffer. Electronic attack is your offensive DDoS or spoof, and electronic protection is your defensive firewall. When you see it like this, passive, offensive, defensive, sniffer, DDoS, firewall, the whole thing just clicks, doesn't it?
Okay, so that's the theory. We get the concepts now. But how is this invisible war actually fought? Let's take a look at the hardware, because we're moving from abstract code and signals to some very real and very powerful combat systems. And the arsenal is just fascinating. You've got these dedicated aircraft like the EA-18G Growler, which is basically a flying server farm designed to just obliterate an enemy's electronic capabilities. Then you have these really clever defensive gadgets, like towed decoys, and of course the classics you've probably seen in movies, chaff and flares designed to confuse incoming missiles. Let's just walk through how a towed decoy works, because it is a perfect example of electronic deception in action. So an enemy missile gets a radar lock on a fighter jet. In response, the pilot deploys this little decoy that trails behind the plane on a wire. This decoy then starts screaming out a radar signal that's way brighter and more attractive than the jet itself. The missile's simple logic just says, whoa, go for the bigger target, and it diverts away from the multi-million-dollar aircraft to hit the cheap decoy instead. It's a simple trick, but it's absolutely life-saving. But here's the thing. All of that is about to seem ancient. The next great leap in this field isn't about better hardware. It's about smarter software. We are now entering the era of cognitive electronic warfare, where artificial intelligence is starting to call the shots. See, the old way of doing things was all scripted. A system had a library of known enemy signals. If it detected threat A, it ran countermeasure A. Simple. The problem? If the enemy used a brand new signal that wasn't in your library, your system was completely useless. Cognitive EW, driven by machine learning, is totally different. It's adaptive. It can analyze a threat it has never seen before in real time and cook up a custom solution on the fly. And this brings us to the ultimate IT parallel. And it is a powerful one. Cognitive EW is like having an adaptive firewall that not only spots a brand new zero-day exploit, but then writes its own security patch and deploys it, all within milliseconds. That's the mind-bending speed and intelligence we're talking about here. So why does all of this matter so much? Because in any modern conflict, controlling the electromagnetic spectrum isn't just an advantage, it's everything. It is the new ultimate high ground. Because if you lose control of the spectrum, you are instantly blind, deaf, and lost. You have no GPS, which means your smart weapons just became dumb bombs. You have no data links, so your friendly forces can't share information with each other. And you have no communications, so commanders can't command. In a world where data is the new ammunition, losing the spectrum means you've already lost the war. There's a quote that just sums this whole thing up perfectly. If you lose the war in the air, you lose the war. But if you lose the war in the spectrum, you lose the air. It just hammers home that this invisible battle is the absolute foundation that all other modern military operations are built on. And all of this leaves us with one final and pretty critical question for the future. As these AI-driven systems get faster and more autonomous, reacting in microseconds to threats we can't even perceive, who is truly in command anymore? The human or the algorithm?